Guys, March 9th began tournament week for the players. They never saw a championship Sunday, but now we sit on the cusp of a tournament week again at the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth, Texas. There's great history in that event. They're going to make history this week as we take a look at who is going to assemble to resume the PGA Tour season. That includes the top 5 players in the official World Golf Rankings. Rory McIlroy headlining the field. The #1 player in the world is going to play there for the very first time. Not to mention having 101 winners on the PGA Tour at some point in their career. They're all in the field. Now, for Rory McIlroy, going there for the first time is not something he's uncomfortable with because he's won 18 times on the PGA Tour. 8 of them have been at places where he has not competed prior. So, John Cook, let me start with you. What does it say about Rory McIlroy that literally just under 50% of his wins have come at places where he has never seen before in competition?
Yeah, I like the way that Rory's game travels. You see where he's won his golf tournaments. He's won at Congressional. He's won at Hoylake, Valhalla, Kiowa Island, vastly different golf course. He's a quick learner. He can take advantage of the par fives. You know, once he gets his sight lines, gets his start lines of tee shots at Colonial, he'll get very, very comfortable. Also, club selections off the tees. But his game travels, and he has a lot of discipline. So, to me, that's a real key to why he can win basically anywhere. Is he studies the golf course. He knows what he can and can't do, knows where he can take advantage of his great power, his great length, and he slams the par fives. The only problem at Colonial is there's only 2 par fives, and they're both reachable by most everybody in the field. So it'll be very interesting to see how he adjusts and whether he has the discipline to play around Colonial.
Yeah, having said that, John, I don't think his challenge is going to be familiarity with the course. I think it's more the style of the golf course. Rory has not won on a lot of small, tight, sort of finesse type golf courses. Maybe Harding Park. If you want to call East Lake that, I guess so. He's won twice there, of course. But in general, at Colonial, it's the precision players, the touch players, like Kevin Na last year, not necessarily the power players. Not to say Rory can't do it. If he has one of those immense driving weeks where he's long and straight, he can miniaturize the place and maybe run away with it. But I'd actually be surprised. I think to win, he's going to have a good driving week and not miss short putts. I think that's huge. Capitalize on his birdie opportunities. I would consider him not necessarily a favorite at Colonial, but obviously when he's on, he can win anywhere.
That's fascinating, Jaime. I'm not actually with you in terms of the recipe. I think that Rory off the tee is going to be a given. He's such a solid ball striker. He has the ability to play the ball to spots. I think it should be, as John was just pointing out, a short learning curve for him. I also think that on classic courses like this, that architects tend to whisper to you, but the key is if you listen. And Rory at his best is when we see Rory the artist. When he gets technical, be it with his high lofted irons or with his putter, as you were just noting, he tends to get stiff and it seems like he loses some of his feel and his distance control. I think Colonial, just given the design of the golf course, is going to bring out the artist, and his clubs will be more brushes instead of hammers. I think it'll settle him down from that standpoint, and I do think he's going to contend.
When you look at these 8 wins, obviously all of the major championships are included in that haul of showing up for the first time and winning. But kind of back to what Jaime was saying, there was a visual freedom that most of those venues provided him. When he won the Players, that took him a while to figure out the confinement that you feel visually in playing point to point. I would put this, if he turned around and won this event, not only for all these players off this respite, but for him in particular, I'd be wildly impressed, not overly shocked, obviously. He is the best player in the world. Matt, let me let you amplify the point about Colonial, because it has great history there. And in terms of him going there and possibly doing this, it's going to be a special week no matter what because of circumstance. But how about Colonial Country Club as a venue all time for the greats?
Well, I mean, when you look at it all time from the greats. You can begin and end with Ben Hogan. There was a reason why Hogan loved the place so much and played so well there, because of his ability to shape shots. And even when you reference the stadium course, the difference in a Pete Dye philosophy of trying to get players to second guess the lines that they may have played 100 times before when they stand on the tee and when they're surrounded by that pressure, versus a classic golf course like this. The primary architect was an architect named Perry Maxwell, who I see as kind of the American Donald Ross. He was the son of Scottish immigrants. He actually went into banking. He was not trained as a golf course architect, but he lost his wife, and after she passed away, he traveled back to his family's ancestral land of Scotland, and it solidified in him a design philosophy for golf courses, which he came back and embraced, which simply put is to take from the land that which it would give, to let Mother Nature be the primary designer of the golf course. So Colonial is natural, it's flowing, it's definitely a shot maker's golf course. Interestingly, it opened at the height of the Great Depression in 1936. So it has these classic elements. And again, I think the key to these classic golf courses for many golfers is that the architect tries to show you a path. You can choose a more aggressive line if that's your nature, but they try to show you this is the way to play this hole if you want to play it without any great risk. And I just think, Gary, it's a classic design. I can't wait to see a field of this depth playing it in the week that's coming up.
Yeah, Maxwell's most acclaimed work is in the Southwest. Gil Hance has actually been brought in by the club to do some work over time. He did the same at Southern Hills, another Maxwell design. John, let's talk specifically about a few holes, and if you want to apply it to the approach of Rory McIlroy, but overall the field. Let's start with the par 5 11th. They've added a few yards since you were contending
they have.
back in the day, so to speak.
Yeah, we used to walk off the 10th green right there to the 11th tee, but they've added a tee back there, now plays 635 yards. And not many straight tee shots on this golf course, guys, but number 11 is one of them. So you're going to aim it down that left-hand side at those bunkers, try to peel it back to the center of the fairway. 320 was where you saw that little wider area. So if you get the ball in the fairway, it does play downwind. You have a shot at going at this green in two. And with Rory's length, he can certainly reach this green in two. You got to be careful where you place that tee shot or that second shot. The green is in distinct quadrants. There's a back right, there's a back left, and a center, all different levels. Not a lot of pitch to these greens, but this one does have some movement. You have to get through there with making no more than 5 and more 4s than that. And then we go on to the 14th hole, another hole that they've
John, on to
some
14. Visually from the tee, this has got to please his eye, correct?
Absolutely, no question about it, Gary. It's a dogleg left. That tee shot right there is about 300 past those bunkers, which he can easily fly with his high right to left ball flight. Once you get it in this fairway, this green is really well protected. On the right-hand side, you see those trees. Those do overhang the right side of the green, so you have to perfectly place your tee shot to get to that back right hole location, or those trees can come into play. Visually, this will be a birdie opportunity for Rory, but he's got to get the golf ball in the fairway. It's, like I said, not many straight tee shots. You have one at number 11, but you have to curve the ball around Colonial. So I love the way that this golf sets up for just that type of guy that can shape those tee shots around Colonial Country Club.
It is. It's a wonderful membership. It is a very cozy club. It is tucked into a neighborhood. Trinity River, obviously 3, 4, and 5 gets a lot of attention because of its the moniker of the horrible horseshoe. Well, we're looking forward to it.